No, we did not.
That was
Yeah.
after.
It comes, yeah, it always drops. Big news always drops the day after we record.
Yeah. I do kind of find that amusing. I always find that kind of funny because it's like the day after we record.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Okay.
Sometimes it's late at night, like right after we're done recording.
Yeah, that too. That's always my favorite. Is when they
Oh, it's been done with dirty.
Mm-hmm.
I have not gotten around to seeing Kong Godzilla yet.
Oh, it's out? Oh, no. I didn't know that.
Oh, yeah, it's out. It's
out.
on HBO Max.
Oh, it's on
Okay.
billboards everywhere, man.
Maybe I'll watch it. Well, I don't know. We'll get dinner.
It was a choice between that and Invincible on Amazon.
I heard it, yeah. I heard Invincible's good.
Yeah,
Right,
we'll talk
ready?
about that tonight.
Yeah.
We'll talk
All right.
about that tonight.
Tonight, on a very special Squares at Roundtable podcast.
Dum dum.
All right, y'all ready?
Oh, I thought you were starting.
Oh, yeah. I am starting. I'm starting right this second. I'm starting immediately.
Well,
We're going to start.
What you think?
I'm going to start.
Did.
I'm going to start. We're starting very soon. Actually, right now.
Now?
Right now.
Not later?
Right now. This is now.
Now?
Yep. This is now.
Now.
How y'all doing? Ivan, Jeff, Mike, Squares Roundtable podcast. And me. That's me. I'm part of the three. So, how we doing, everybody?
Good.
Good. All right.
It's life is here. It's a thing. It's the stuff.
Yeah.
You know.
Things and stuff. It's what we got.
You know. Life is a giant starfish.
Yeah.
Oh, really?
Like a genie. How you doing, Ivan?
Oh, I'm doing good, man. I'm doing good. I'm always trying to do good.
Good. I caught a little bit of your Twitch the other day.
I'm sorry?
I caught a little bit of your Twitch the other day.
Did you dig it?
Yeah, I digged it. Dugged it. I dugged it.
See, it was funny. I was listening to the radio the other day, and there was a couple of people who were talking about Twitch. Did play the Flintstone thing with the Twitch.
Oh, nice.
So I'm for the record, Ivan, I told you to do it earlier than that. And now everybody else is doing it.
Everybody's doing
way ahead of everybody else.
Well,
You've been way ahead.
Rock roll and his Devil Dodo
Yeah.
eggs.
But I have heard it, like, on the local sports station here in Chicago, where the guy was like, Twitch, and I was like, I told Ivan to do that weeks ago. Maybe months ago.
You gotta own that shit.
You gotta own that shit before it's too late.
Okay. Transgression made.
So how's your opportunities missed? So how was your weekend? How's your domicile over there in the big city?
Everything here is just laid back, just taking it in. We just went out and did some riding around and stuff. Let's see. We went to the new Portillo's over on Addison and Kimball. Brand new place,
really?
Brand new Portillo's. Yeah, and of course the food consistency good if you like Portillo's. And then we went to the Fannie Mae chocolate house in Wheeling, and so went to get some Easter stuff, because Julie's going to be spending Easter with her family, in Indiana. So so went and got a whole bunch of really nice stuff. Got one of those pixie eggs, and I got a Trinidad egg, just out of this world. I mean, the Fannie Mae chocolate still remains the best. I mean, in my opinion.
Mm-hmm.
And so, did that. What else? Just was doing my shift over there at the spinning wheel. Did a Select 60s special, which just kind of the crumb of the collection, and that was a lot of fun. And then today,
which way does the wheel spin?
How big does the wheel spin?
No, which way?
It spins clockwise.
Are you sure?
Yes.
Why?
Always forward. Why? Because forward is going forward.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Makes sense.
Forward is going forward. You're right. That does make sense.
Mm-hmm.
Oh.
Yeah.
So that
Grug and Zog are your
well, no, I mean, little weed humor, of course. Hey, coming at you here from your driving Ivan and Marley, who is right here next to me. Hey, Marley, what's up, kitty? Such a good cat, man. Anyway, so other than that, yeah, just moved my sound counter out to the front room now, and emptying out the bedroom, trying to give myself a little more space to do things, and turn the bedroom back into a bedroom. And
what sounds does it count?
I'm sorry?
What sounds does it count?
What sounds does it count?
Yeah, you said you moved your sound counter. Oh, your counter, or you have all your stuff on it. Oh, my bad. My bad. Counter as in a physical counter. My bad. No,
it only goes to 11.
Right. That's what I kept thinking about. It's like sound counter. What are you talking about? What's a sound counter? What, you got sheep in there? They go 1 back, 2 back.
No, I get okay. It's my shelf system.
Right. No, I figured that out later.
With my countertop where all my turntables and shit.
Got it. No, now makes that. Yes, that makes a lot more sense.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sorry. I keep thinking I'm talking to other DJs. I'm so sorry. But
no, it's
count
funny
the sounds.
I'm like, that's not what I was thinking about.
It's okay,
I'm like,
man.
I'm counting sounds. What kind of sounds? Yeah, exactly. Like what? Is it like a sound effects machine or what?
Oh my God, it's gonna be one of those.
Oh no, like I said, it's like I plead guilty. That's exactly where my mind went. I'm like, wait, what are you talking about?
I know what he meant by counter. I thought like a board or something.
Right, because you got a board in front of you. Me, I don't. How many years since I've had like a radio board or audio board? Not what I'm thinking about.
The place I DJ from, man. You know what I mean? You've seen it on, you guys.
Right. Yeah. Yes. Although now I want to find the mythical sound counter. What kind of sounds does it count?
It counts the sounds.
Sound counter. Now that you put it into that type of light, sound counter.
I can have a show after that.
It almost sounds like audio equipment.
You could. You really could name a show after that. Welcome to Sound Counter. Tonight we're gonna count how many times I say how many traffic lights are green. I don't know.
Sounds like a Ken Nordine type of thing. Sound counter.
Yeah, it's
it's got that type of feel to it. That whole poetry jazz type of thing. Sound counter.
Yeah, but poetry is nowadays about rhyme and meter. You got to be kind of free form.
Exactly, he was the best of them too, Ken Nordine. His work called Colors is amazing.
It's right after blues. It's like right after blues brunch on Sunday mornings.
No, but I'm saying if you're gonna listen to some like abstract jazz bohemian style, and you get into the realms of Ken Nordine, I mean that's just some really choice stuff. And like I said, it doesn't rhyme. But it's smooth. It just kind of rounds the notes, and it just has a type of aesthetic to it. Thinking man's music, and so yeah.
Isn't jazz usually thinking man music anyway?
Well, it depends on what is.
Unless we're talking about Kenny G, that just fucking sucks.
Well, yeah, of course it sucks. It's Kenny
Or John Tesh or Yanni. I mean, that doesn't count. That's not jazz.
No. See,
it's
look,
easy listening.
It's
not even easy listening. What it is horrible.
Well, yeah, it is bad. Okay, look. I never knew a dude who could do 3 notes and end up with the big fucking Grammy. I'm like, how does that happen? But yet, you got people that, have lived and died for their craft and everything like that, don't even get nary a mention. Charlie Parker, thank you.
You're welcome. Wait, who's Charlie Parker? Is he related to Ben?
No.
Maybe.
No. Charlie the Bird Parker, man.
Didn't he make Monopoly? Isn't he one of those ones?
No.
He's got a brother?
Right.
No.
Okay.
No. Check out the movie.
Check out the
movie that was directed by Clint Eastwood called Bird.
Okay.
It's all.
Is his brother Carr?
No.
Okay. Dad jokes all day. Dad jokes all day, ladies and gentlemen.
I'm telling you, man, you kill him, you Smalls.
Yeah, well, at some point, somebody's got to deliver. Someone's got to try to add the humor somehow.
Well, I mean, we think, we already given enough character, man.
I swear to God, when you say spinning wheel, all I keep thinking about is it's like the Wheel of Fortune. I just keep waiting for it to land on 5,000. You know?
We get bankrupt.
No loser, no bankrupt.
You get half of a car and you don't get the other half.
They don't do that on that show.
Oh, they don't do that no more? Okay.
No, not on that show.
Okay.
Oh wait, you're right. They used to do that. They don't do that anymore.
You take the placard off the wheel?
Yeah, they don't do that one anymore.
Yeah. Okay.
This is what happens when you have a 79-year-old woman who lives in your home. You know what they do and they don't do anymore.
Right.
What they don't do.
Because Wheel of Fortune is...
Yeah, Wheel of Fortune is almost becoming like an exercise now, man. You watch, it's like you already pretty much expect what's going to happen.
Either that or I keep thinking about, I don't know if you guys remember, in the Animaniacs, they had the Wheel of Morality.
Oh, I remember that episode, yeah.
Well, they had it in multiple episodes. So what they would do is at the end of the show when they're trying to escape, they go, okay, it's that time again, and they'd spin the Wheel of Morality. And usually they'd have like some wacky, weird moral that has nothing to do with anything that just is really funny. But
it's just total humor, man. It has unrelated to the show. It's
right.
Fabulous.
But the point is that there is one episode where they spin the wheel and it's like they win a trip to Aruba and they're like, Aruba, yay, Aruba, and then they leave. So there's always this part of me where I'm like, that's all I keep thinking about when you talk about the spinning wheel. It's like the water kids. Like,
the Warner Brothers.
We win, yay!
It's a new car.
It's a new car, yeah.
Hey,
God.
I'll take it.
You know what? You should find those bits and use them in the spinning wheel. It's like in the middle, like as interlude kind of things. And now the wheel, since we're spinning the wheel, we'll spin the wheel of morality.
Yeah, you need an actual wheel for that Facebook page.
Yeah, you should have a wheel.
Yeah, that's a great idea.
You should have like a real. Yeah, actually, that'd be amusing. Actually, Ivan, now that's a good gimmick.
Actual
what
prizes.
If you put what goes beyond that? What if you actually put all the music on the wheel, and then you because there are like things and stuff. I sound things and stuff. There are computer programs where you could do like a wheel and you could put all of the names and stuff on it and spin it, and then whatever came up is the song you got to play.
Ah, interesting. Yeah.
No, you need a physical wheel. You need Julie will be like your Vanna White and spin it.
Yeah. That would be cool. Like have Julie there and like. Yeah. That's the wrong.
I know that's Price is Right.
One.
No, I know, but I got the idea.
You know, by the way, I did because Drew Carey like last season I think was on Masked Singer. Or something like that. I did not recognize him.
No, he's gone full like Grizzly Adams.
Forget that. He's like lost a lot of weight.
Yeah,
too.
he's got
Holy
a lot of weight, man. I think it was after he had his stroke. Was when he finally said, "I think I need to lose some weight." And
I didn't know he had a stroke.
Oh yeah, he did.
Oh. He probably sat there and said, "Shit, Bob Barker had this job until he was 90. I can't fuck this up."
Yeah, it's a steady gig. It's a good gig.
Yeah.
Yeah, they got they're socially distant now. Like there's not like huge crowds no more. Like even like with what's his name? The Let's Make a Deal. They've got the like couches with like maybe like a dozen people. They don't have like the full stands anymore with the audience.
Or they'll have screens, they'll have video screens.
Yeah, but Drew Carey has gone like full mountain man. Like
David Letterman?
Yeah,
Full
exactly.
mountain man?
Well, he's not bald yet, I don't think, like Letterman.
Is Letterman bald? I haven't seen that recently.
I thought he was full cue ball.
He's like devolving into like a total Indiana Hoosier, like right in front of us.
Yeah.
Like old Indiana guy. Like
Speaking of devolving, how was your week, Jeff?
Ivan was Ivan finished? I don't know. I kind of interrupted.
No, go ahead. I'm cool.
I'm sorry. You okay, Ivan?
With the sound counter thing.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So we just got done this week doing Sunday night stories on Sunday night on Clubhouse. We had four really, really great storytellers. Eventually, I hope we'll pick up a little bit more steam. We're getting about 15 to 20 people in to listen to stories. I hope it'll pick up. Again, if you're listening and you do have an iPhone and you have the ability to get the Clubhouse app, again, that's Sunday night at 9:30 and Central Time. And we like I said, we had four really, really phenomenal storytellers, and it was a lot of fun to hear it, because we're honestly we're hearing people tell stories, but not in a long form way on that platform where they can kind of just be comfortable going out and telling a story for a good 7 to 10 minutes. But so there's that, and then the only other thing I can think of off the top of my head, well, I'm still watching a whole slew of House of Cards. I feel like I'm plowing through. I'm just about done with season 4, and
wow,
Frank Underwood's a bastard. That's all I can say to that. Mm-hmm. That and by the way, Robin Wright. Oh my God,
Buttercup.
Fuck Buttercup. I mean, she's way past Buttercup, and she's like the whole fucking butter aisle. I mean, she's smooth like butter. Damn. I mean, wow. I mean, she is legs that go on for a mile. I mean, she just looks amazing in that show. Oh my God. She is smoking hot. I mean, I always knew she was hot, but I mean, like in this one, she's like, it's like, man, wow, holy moly. But yeah, it's an interesting show. It's one of those shows where it's like, I don't think there's anybody on that show with a redeeming, likable quality half the time. But hey, that's politics.
There have been
right?
some minor characters. As far as I know, because I've only watched it like ancillary or whatever, incident, tangentially through like watching like family members watching it, and I guess there's some minor players, like some aides or whatever, that are trying to get to the bottom of things and try and have some kind of moral center.
We're getting closer to that point. I think, like I said, they've just kind of started that in this season. I was watching. Like I said, I have about 2 more episodes until I'm done with season 4. But it's really good television, and it's it's funny. That was the first series that I'm aware of, I think, that Netflix did as one of their originals. So it's interesting to see how it holds up, because I'm watching it so much later than everybody else did. But it's interesting to see how it holds up. Now, what I did watch that was more recent was I should say more like finally, thank God, we finally got Invincible on Amazon.
We talked about that almost a year ago, I think, when it was coming.
It's been such a long time coming. I mean, that was like the first, when Kirkman got that monstrous deal from Amazon back in 2018, this was the first show. And I think this is the first show from the Robert Kirkman deal. And for people who are not aware, Robert Kirkman is the creator of The Walking Dead. And he has other properties, and Invincible is one of them. And frankly, I've always enjoyed Invincible far more than The Walking Dead. So I'm happy that it's finally come to, well, I guess technically the small screen. But, and I'm okay with it being animated too as well.
Yeah, is it dropping weekly, or is it like to drop a whole season?
Well, so they dropped the first 3 episodes this week. I don't know. I assume next week we're going to get 3 more. I think there's a total of 8 for the season, but don't quote me on that. I could be very wrong about that. But the first 9 sounds right now that I'm thinking about it, because it's like it would be 3, 3, and 3 in theory.
Mm-hmm. You're counting episodes, like the counting sounds.
Yeah, I guess I am. 3, 3 time, and 3, 3.
Sound counter.
Yes, sound counting. But yeah, I really, so like I said, this is, I mean, just to give backstory, I never fully read the Invincible series from Image that Kirkman wrote. I did read the first volume of the trade paperbacks, and I really enjoyed what I read, and then I found out more about it later on, about some of the other things that went on, and it's a really good comic that I'm glad that they're making into a series. I hope it does well. I hope a lot of people watch it, and you know, thank you for. I just thank them. It took them 3-4 years to get this thing out in the open. It is not a PG-13 thing. It's an R. It's on the R side. There, it is more.
It's like The Boys.
I mean, there's not really any nudity, but like, for example, there's one scene where the one catches the guy in a threesome with the girl who like duplicates or triplicates, that kind of thing. That he's cheating on the other one. And you know, there is some swearing. It certainly is gratuitous on the violence.
Mm.
They have no problem with smooshing people's heads in and shit like that, and really, like, if when someone's head's caved in, someone's head is literally caved in. But I think the animation's interesting because it looks like the comic, and the comic was back in the 90s. So the animation isn't necessarily. I mean, it's clean and clear enough that it doesn't look like it's from the 90s, but it's definitely not your usual. It's not what you're seeing today. It's not. It's a different visual style. Well, right. It doesn't seem full on Japanimation type look.
Okay, it's not anime. Okay.
It's not an anime. That's for sure. It has some.
Okay, it doesn't. How does it stack up against like Studio Ghibli and like at Disney?
I'm sure it does not. It's TV.
Now, what do you mean, Studio? Well,
Studio Ghibli, that was the Japanese arm of Walt Disney Studios, and
but it's not. I mean, it's not that kind of thing. It's more of an American style.
Yeah, it's not like epic cinema or anything. No,
like
right?
Airbender.
No,
like Airbender.
No. Oh, no. I mean, this
like
is
the next
like
Airbender, nothing like that.
I mean, it looks like the comic. It looks like
cool.
basically they it looks like, honestly, it looks like it has kind of a 90s comic book feel. And in the 90s, it's very, very, in the 90s, comic books were really, really stylized, especially the stuff coming out of Image. You know, I mean, that's,
well, yeah,
I shouldn't say that. I think it was maybe I'm wrong. Maybe it was the early 2000s. Maybe that was the early 2000s, late 90s. I can't remember when exactly Invincible was. Okay. But again, it's fun. It's interesting. To give some backstory, the story is about a kid who basically gets his powers and is the son of one of the biggest superheroes on the planet, and he calls himself Invincible. And there's definitely some humor to it. There's some really J.K. Simmons who plays J. Jonah Jameson.
Yeah, he's got a great voice,
and Jim Gordon, just in the Snyder Cut, is the voice of the dad. Sandra Oh plays his mom. Zachary Quinto is one of the characters too. And then, as a reoccurring, Seth Rogen's playing a character as well, which I thought was pretty fun. That was a really amusing one. Actually, I could say he's playing an alien named Alan the Alien, who's part of this group who's there to test. Who's there? He comes every every few years to test to test the defense systems, because he's part of this league that he has to test all this stuff. And he's been coming, and unlike everybody who just fought him in the past, Invincible actually sat down and talked to him. Turns out he was supposed to be going to a planet called Earth with a planet called Arath, which is starting with a U. Mm-hmm. So it's Urath.
Yeah.
Versus Earth. And he's like, I've been coming to the wrong planet for 15 years. Yes. So, that's just to give you an idea of some of the stuff that goes on. But yeah, if you've got Amazon Prime and you've got 3 hours for the first 3 episodes, it's really good. I enjoyed it a lot.
I think I know somebody who has that Amazon Prime account. I can, because we watched Coming to America too, so I'll have to hit that person up, see if I can catch it.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Well, like I said, it's a high recommend. It's definitely, cool. I would call it again, I want to wait to see the rest of it, but I really enjoyed it. I'd put it at a 4 out of 5 or a 4.5.
Oh.
But it's the animation is really good. It's a lot of fun. I enjoyed it. So yeah, so that's me. Sorry to be so long, but like I said, I thought it was cool because I figured I'd talk a little bit about Invincible, and it's nice to have. Like I said, I'm thrilled because it's Kirkman's other project that doesn't get talked a lot about, because it's always about The Walking Dead, The Walking Dead, The Walking Dead, and I get it because that became such a big thing, but to me, Invincible was always a lot more interesting than The Walking Dead. And I think it's too bad. I don't know that it'll get the buzz that,
Jeff,
that The Walking Dead.
That might reach the whole different status, cult status, and when people do discover it, they're going to love it. They're going to love it because they had to seek it out. It's got that kind of an appeal. I mean, look what happened with Rocky Horror Picture Show. Look what happened with so many other different things in the media. Yeah. Something? Yeah.
Well, I'm a little surprised though, because keep in mind, they signed a monstrous deal with Robert Kirkman. And to me, I'm a little surprised that now maybe on Amazon itself, I haven't looked around. Maybe when you go on Amazon Prime, I didn't really fully look for it because I knew what I was looking for right away. I was like, I'm in, no problem. I'm going for this. Maybe on Amazon Prime, it's plastered all over the place. But I'm a little surprised because there's been it was kind of like there wasn't much TV. I didn't see much I didn't see anything on the comic book, pages and stuff like that, the different comic book sites that do stuff like that. Right. I saw a little bit here and there, but hey, maybe that's because they're all busy blowing Zack Snyder as usual. Maybe that's the problem. Stop blowing Zack Snyder for 5 seconds and hey, look, there's something else out there. And you'd think that it's weird because it's like, you'd think they would notice it considering the fact we're talking about Kirkman. Kirkman, quite frankly, is as big as important as anything Zack Snyder does.
Maybe once the full season drops, maybe eventually to go to MC or regular cable. Because that's what The Walking Dead is, you think.
I don't think so.
Would you think that'd be the obvious choice?
I don't think they could put it on regular cable.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, because it has to be on streaming. Yeah, because of the language and the violence.
Yeah, no, I don't think you could do it. And the other thing is, and keep in mind, Amazon is paying Kirkman for. Amazon's paying Kirkman for exclusive product content.
Right.
So, the only thing that doesn't fall under that is The Walking Dead. Because it was before Kirkman signed that deal. So, yeah, I don't see...
Right, and that's winding down now.
Yeah, we'll see. Well, it'll be interesting because that's not fully dead. You know that they'll find creative ways. They They just need to figure out creative ways to reboot or do it again or do something different or
just reinvent it, all over again, reinvigorate it, re-elucidate it.
Well, look, the guy who played the lead guy, I can't remember his name for the life of me right now. But the guy who left a few seasons ago, if they developed that movie that they talked about, I'm sure some people would be interested. But I do feel like it's like this went on a few seasons too long. But that's me. Some people love it. They still do. It's not doing the numbers it used to do, but it's still doing good enough numbers that, considering you're talking about cable and whatnot, it's doing good enough numbers to make it worth still doing. So, go figure.
Yeah.
What about you, Mike? Seen anything interesting? Done anything interesting?
No, just work's been kicking my ass, so I'm counting down the hours and minutes until my vacation starts, and things are picking up. It's when the weather's getting warmer and people getting stimulated and they're spending their money at the store.
Is that what you use the sound counter for? Is when people get stimulated?
Mm-hmm. Wow. Well, you're good doing it. We count all the bucks that people are dropping.
Yeah. So spin the wheel.
Bust a deal and face the wheel.
Yeah, man, the wheel of sounds. Yeah, man, spin the wheel.
Spin the wheel. Spin the wheel. Hey, this one says blowjob. Okay.
Oh, whoa.
Oh, yeah.
Pre-registered for a toy show in June, seeing as last year we were going to have the TFCon in Chicago, but that got canceled due to the Rona. So maybe that'll be back in 2023. We'll see. Otherwise, there's this other little show in down by Louisville. That's only a Friday, Saturday show, so I figure by June things would be safe. And just been people getting their stimulus, so I've been selling stuff on Facebook Marketplace, so it's good.
What are you selling?
Toy action figures, of course, robots.
Oh, robots.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but watched Falcon Winter Soldier episode 2. We'll get into that a little later. But no, yep. Did you watch? You getting caught up on Superman and Lois yet, or is it still? It's in the queue.
I am caught up.
Okay.
Well, here's the thing. I'm fully caught up, and now they're going on hiatus for a while because Supergirl's coming back.
Also, they've only dropped, 4 now?
4 or 5. I think I can't remember if they dropped 4 or 5.
Yeah, I should get caught up. 5. I'll get caught up next week when I'm on vacation.
Honestly, it's funny because, like I think I said it last week, I finally think I'm going to be looking forward to a CW superhero show, which is Supergirl's back. Thank
the final season,
God. Yes. Thank fucking God, because the rest of them, I'm not there fully yet with Superman Lois. I'm not there, but it's not. Oh my God, I can't wait to sit down and watch this.
How many seasons ago you give up on Flash?
I'm still technically watching it. I have 2 episodes in the queue. I have still not even looked at. I'm that far behind at this point that it's like, I don't know that I care. And it's funny, there's an episode of Black Lightning that I'm sitting on that I'm like, I don't know that I care, but I think you've only got, what episode you want, 3 or 4?
I think it's 3.
Okay.
And I did watch Man of Steel.
Oh God.
I liked it. It's not bad. The third act where the final battle between Superman and Zod just gets it's drawn out, and it wasn't in theater. But I dug the comparisons between Zod and Jor-El. I like that duality. I like that those two knocking heads, especially even like when he's a hologram and he's just like, if I shut this thing off, I'm tired of this debate. It was. So I watched that. I was inspired by the Snyder cut to watch Man of Steel, and maybe I'll get to the ultimate cut of BVS. I don't know. Not likely, but I liked Man of Steel.
Right.
I always liked Man of Steel. I liked Man of Steel.
You got it right. The ultimate BS. You were
ultimate BS. No, it's BVS, Jeff.
No. I think you had it right the first time.
Because BVS is BS. Don't be like those Snyderverse zealots.
Oh, God.
You've become the very thing you swore to destroy.
Yeah, well.
Okay.
It's been not too bad. Just like I said, just counting down the minutes until I'm on vacation. I think we've got a game night this weekend, which usually I'll do that. And then Easter's coming. We got a little Easter ham. I think and I think it's just like maybe like 3 or 4 of us for Easter. That's it. We're not getting obviously not getting together for Easter. So, how's Passover going, by the way?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah,
that's why I was groaning earlier when I was sitting there talking about, I went to Portillo's earlier. I'm like,
Matzah, not matzo.
There is matzo, but there is matzah. It's going. It's going. In theory, God, I can't remember when the last day is. I think it's probably sometime after News of the Squared, but by next week I should be happy.
Hey Siri, when does Passover end?
Passover started on Saturday, March 27th, 2021, and ends on Sunday, April 4th, 2000.
It's the same day as Easter.
Ooh. Oh, well, now that makes sense to why you have the 10 Commandments.
Yeah.
Hey.
Oh, yeah, I'll pop that in. I'll watch it Easter Sunday. It's tradition. And I got my Easter peeps. Tradition. They gave each other a pledge. Unthinkable. I can watch Fiddler on the Roof. I love to watch that. I watched that movie in high school in media class, and never appreciated it until then.
Well, you're talking with Zero Mostel. You're talking the classic one, right?
Yeah, with Paul.
Yeah.
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 Fiddler on the Roof.
Yeah. But I think I heard something about they were looking to try to do a more contemporary revival with it with somebody who did some stuff with Hamilton. I'm interested to see if it works. I'm sure it's a little bit on hold with everything that's been going on because Broadway's pretty
filming. Yeah, Broadway's not been. Yeah,
I would be intrigued about that idea. Really, I think that'd be a really cool idea. I mean, it worked for Hamilton. Why wouldn't it work for theater's greatest musicals?
Yeah, I think you got to be careful, to get to. You can't turn it too much into a Hamilton, but you can do some things to freshen it up or give it a new, unique sound or look that I think would be an interesting idea. Although I'm sure somebody's going to sit there and go, "You can't do that."
There's always the original. You always go back to the original if you like the original.
The masses will always outrun the detractors.
Yeah, unless we're talking about the Snyder Cut, then they're right.
Okay, well, all right, that taken in, okay. But yeah, I would say that would be a project in earnest. I think if he could go along with something like that.
So what does Mike's vacation look like? Is that like you're gonna be home, or you're gonna go somewhere? Are you gonna do anything?
I got some yard work. I'm gonna start on that. I think by then might have to do some stuff around the house, but then Friday, Saturday is DairyCon, so I'll be.
That doesn't sound like a vacation.
Well, that's what my vacation last year was. I just nice. It's felt so accomplishing getting projects done around the house.
Yeah, DairyCon is Mike's Christmas, man.
Yeah, man.
Yes,
I know that I understood the part where
it's yard work.
I want to sit around the house and do yard work. Because that sounds like a vacation all by itself right there.
Well, you know what?
You want to get your house in order, man.
Well, Mike's always been fun to go ahead and, take care of that yard. I mean, Mike has probably got the most perfect yard of any person I know.
Nope.
Because of the fact that he'll go ahead and get that mower out, man. The grass has got to be only so high. Okay? If the leaves come in, he's out there with the rake. He is putting immaculate little curls.
I don't rake no more.
Of every part of the fence. Oh, never ask him about where his grill lies. No. Immaculate. Everything polished to the nines. Silverhead.
Yeah, you've not seen my house lately.
You haven't been over in a couple of years, have you, my friend? I'm just saying, yes, Mike, let me tell you, man, I'll tell you. So this is why him raking the yard, yeah, that's one of life's pleasures for Mike.
Used to be when I was younger. We used to put my Walkman on and rake the whole yard when the leaves were on the ground, but I can't do that anymore.
That was so cool because you always had such a rhythm to it, man.
You never watched me rake.
No, I never watched you, but you spoke about it so many times on the shows over the years.
He was counting sound at that moment.
Yeah, I'm counting leaves.
Yeah, I was counting sound. Yeah, I was.
The leaves are fun. Counting the leaves and counting the sounds too.
But am I wrong though? You
are not.
So when we're talking about the mower, are we talking about like a hand, like you push it, or you get it on?
No, it's self-propelled.
Self-propelled.
Yeah, the wheels turn themselves.
No. So it's self-propelled, but are you pushing it?
Yeah.
Or are you hopping on and you're driving it like a car?
No, we don't. I don't have a riding mower. It's not that big a yard.
Oh man, come on!
I don't have my riding mower yet. I can start sharpening the lawnmower blades. I tell you what.
You live in McHenry. Of course, you have a riding mower, don't you?
Nope.
How do you think he's got such muscle tone to haul all those toys years after years, man? He's pushing that more, man.
Nope, still just as weak and scrawny as ever, just hauling the toys from state to state. But now on vacation, I'm looking forward to just staying away from work and not having to worry about that shit. Idiots following the story. Do you make screens? Do you fix screens? Yes. Well, what do I do next? You bring them in. I can't do it over the phone. Dumbass.
What if I just send you a picture of my screen?
Yeah, it's a standard size screen. Like, there's no such thing as a standard size screen. Take your window out and try and fit it in your neighbor's house, you shithead. This is why I need a vacation.
We need more of this. Hold on a second. Mike getting like
I'm getting fire in my belly.
Mike.
Stupid ass customer. That's retails. What retail's done to me?
Yes. Well, you've chosen to stay in retail.
Right. That is a choice. We make our choices and we learn to live with it. That's what Commander Dama said.
Yeah, he's dead.
Oh, you poor man. Your poor man. Your
not Lauren Green. I'm talking about Edward James Olmos.
Edward J. Olmos?
His career's dead.
No.
Well,
he's not done much lately, I don't think.
Oh
well. So anyway,
I was still thinking about him from Miami Vice anyway.
He'll just be, he's always be from the teacher, Jaime Escalante.
Oh yeah, that too.
A negative times a negative equals a positive.
Yeah. Come on, man.
How do I get to these kids?
Yeah.
You go to college. You know how much mechanics make? Lots of money. Anyway. Yeah, it's how things are at the hardware store because
it's amazing how what things we thought were cool in the 80s. It's like, hey, let's have two guys wearing stylized pastel colors on a regular basis. One of them lives on a boat with an alligator, and the other one, and then we keep playing like Phil Collins every 5 minutes.
He was, I think he was in a couple episodes of Miami Vice.
He was.
Yeah, he was.
Later on. Yeah.
He tried to perfect his acting chops, but that didn't really work out.
No, he was the one.
The series made the air to huge hit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I finally listened to that 6-part series, the A to Z of Phil Collins. It's pretty much an interview split into 6 parts, going through the alphabet and playing some of his songs and doing interviews. And it's like, now he's like, he needs a cane to walk. And like, I don't even know if they're still in rehearsal. They've been in rehearsal for like a year for the Genesis tour in Britain the end of the year, but I don't know if they're going to make it to the States next year if they do, But man, Phil is like he's got back problems and yeah, and of course he can't drum no more. So
it's funny, of the big time 80s pop stars, I feel like he was the one that never really never ended up getting onto that same level as the as the Michael Jacksons, the Madonnas, the Princes, and the Bruce Springsteens.
No.
Him and Huey Lewis kind of seem to hit a level.
Yeah, right.
And
exactly.
That's just kind of where they were.
Where they got a good following, and they'll fill up a bunch of shows, and they're on the.
Oh, like absolutely.
It's on the ACE, the adult contemporary channels, or they're in the 90s. You know, they made that spot. You know.
Mm-hmm.
But they never really.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
And Huey Lewis has had some problems too, hasn't he? Had like some.
I think he had some health problems too.
On.
Yeah.
Yeah. No. Yeah. Both of them have been like, you know.
Yeah.
But hopefully, like I said, hopefully Genesis will tour one last time in the States next year. Mm-hmm. If this tour in the UK goes all right in the fall.
What were you saying, Ivan?
Oh no, I was gonna say it seems like all of the artists from the '60s they seem to be aging. A little better than those who have been in the 80s who are trying to age into now. I'm just like, yeah.
Well, what 60s artists are you talking about?
Oh no, I mean, here you still got the Rolling Stones and they're still doing things out there. And, at this point in time. But then here it is, Huey Lewis, I haven't heard anything in years with Huey Lewis.
No, he's still, hold on a second. I gotta look.
Yeah, I mean, I haven't heard anything.
What Huey Lewis is about to do? I don't know.
No, what else was there? There was, we all know what happened to Prince and Michael, and of course Madonna hasn't released anything as of recently, not that I know of.
Yeah, she did. She released something last year.
She did?
Yeah, she had top hits last year.
I have to look, you know what? I'll be honest with you, I did not know.
Yeah, you know what? Neither would have I, to be honest with you. But I happened to catch something on Billboard where they were talking about it because Madonna actually, it was funny, put something on Instagram today where she did like a retro thing where she pulled up like some old, really glamorized, stylized, kind of erotica back in the day kind of stuff. That's what it is. Huey Lewis has a hearing problem.
Okay. Well, so does Phil.
Yeah.
Right. And Huey Lewis has a hearing problem as well. I'm trying to find.
Johnny Ray had a hearing problem too.
So yeah, I'm trying to find when the last real album we're talking about for Huey Lewis. I'm just trying to be fast about this. So Huey Lewis did record something called Weather in 2020. I know he was doing some jazz for a while too. For a while, because I remember it back in the mid 90s. But yeah, he's released some stuff. It's just not been as
mainstream.
Not as mainstream. But I know he kind of did really similar to like, he was kind of going a similar direction at one point, like Billy Joel, where he was looking at jazz. And in fairness, that doesn't shock me based on, Huey Lewis's sound.
That Huey Lewis had a very big rhythm and blues and soul heavy sound. And the rock just intertwining within the framework of the music, which was a big dynamic in 1983, 84. Do You Believe in Love? And then of course, was used in Back to the Future, all the music, some of the music that got used in
the funny music videos they used to have.
Yeah, well, yeah, and then of course, you had the album Sports, which I think there was a big controversy surrounding the album Sports. Not at my memory at the moment, someday it'll come, but yeah, there was a big deal about that album.
Well, probably because the first song off the album was I Want a New Drug.
I think that was it. That was
when literally you're singing I Want a New Drug.
Yeah, when the first lady sang Just Say No, Huey Lewis, one of the most innocuous pop singers of the time, put out a song called I Want a New Drug.
Right, which, okay, there you go, that's right.
But,
that's right.
I
gotta
tell you, 4 was a better album than Sports.
Oh, 4 was it? I mean, I'm just, as far as, on the controversy side of it, that's the thing it stands out. But yeah, 4 was a better album, Jeff.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Oh no, I had 4. 4 was phenomenal.
Oh, that was my album 4.
Yeah.
We counting Huey Lewis records now?
Yeah, I guess we are.
Yeah.
I did get a chance to see him in person after that on that tour. That was really when he brings out the bass section, the bass section and the horns, man. And they're blowing. That Huey Lewis live is definitely something.
And then James Hetfield sings "Enter Sandman."
Right.
There
Yes.
you go.
There's a video mashup. They made another one of those. Where the first one was.
Wait, did they really make a mashup between Huey Lewis and James Hetfield?
they put the lyrics to "Enter Sandman" in the same time and meter as "Hip to Be Square."
Did they really? I'm gonna have to find that.
Yeah, I'll send you a link. And they did another one.
I want to see.
They did another one where they took the Ghostbusters by Ray Parker Jr. and they put the words to "Intergalactic" by the Beastie Boys.
That I think I've seen.
Yeah.
Nice.
You know, it's got the same, but it's the lyrics.
Yes.
It's Beastie Boys.
You know what I saw?
Intergalactic.
You know what I saw that's similar to that with the Ghostbusters mashup was what's his name? The guy that we never hear from anymore, who's got the biggest song in the world, like on YouTube. What's his name? Gangnam Guy.
Oh, Psy, yeah.
Yeah, the Gangnam Style.
They did 2012, I think it was when.
God, is it that far back?
Gangnam Style came
really?
out. Yeah.
Has it really been that long? Holy shit!
Yeah.
Yeah, it's been a bit. It's been a bit.
Oppa Gangnam Style, and it was got hundreds of millions of views on YouTube. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean everybody.
No, it's more than hundreds of millions. I want to say that it's gotten. Hold on a second. I'm pretty sure Gangnam Style has over 1 billion hits.
Maybe.
Has over 1 billion. I'm pretty sure about that.
It might be by now. Yeah.
You guys remember the old guy for Six Flags?
Yeah.
That the song that they used the song that they used for his theme. What was that?
I don't know.
Oh, the Venga Boys.
That's it.
The Venga Boys from I can't remember who the band is. I'm trying to find the official one. Oh wait, maybe it was. Okay, so it says the official music video. Well, no, this says this isn't the actual, but this isn't him. I remember the numbers. The problem is there's so many.
There's a lot of catfishing
so many different,
on YouTube.
Well, not catfishing, but there's so many different versions of it out there.
Yeah.
That I'm trying to find.
Yeah.
I'm trying to find the actual.
Yeah, exactly. The official web page for the artist.
Yeah.
The bass track.
Not the bass
here we
track,
go.
but the
Maybe
official.
I can find it here.
The official YouTube page for Psy.
S-E, bass track.
Oh, bass is in the original. Right. Yeah.
Yes.
I thought bass as in bass in trouble.
No, B-A-S-E.
Yeah, I'm not gonna find it. It's a lot.
It's a lot.
I want to say
just take our word for it.
I'm not counting sound here, damn it.
He's counting sounds again.
Yeah, I'm not counting any more sounds. Screw that. Yeah, no. Gangnam Style was really that long.
Yeah, it's 2012.
Feels like it. Was it really? Holy cow.
Man, where did the time do fly?
It feels like a lot. Wow. Okay. Wow. All right. Damn.
Surprise.
Yeah, shit. Just felt old now. Okay.
So
what
9 years ago, jeez.
Yeah, holy shit. That feels like just yesterday.
All right, so let's see what news we got.
Do you want to do that, or we want to? Well, I guess we could do news first.
What?
And then we get the Winter Soldier.
Oh yeah, we gotta do Falcon Winter Soldier. Yeah, we'll do that towards the tail end.
Winter Soldier thing.
What do you think, Mike? Because this is, to me, this is what I'm talking about. This is
last week you were all like, he gave up the shield, and now Bucky shows up to give him the business for an hour.
Yeah, kind of.
Yeah.
But in fairness, this is more of what I was, the amount of level of action and the amount of the tempo is what I was looking for that we didn't get in the last episode. So I'm thankful for that.
Yeah, this is what, I mean, we needed a setup. You need to find out where our heroes are at this point. And then the second one is like, okay, they're into it. They're trying to find who this Flagmaster is, and yeah, it's cool. And then we're building on the whole John Walker's spiel, U.S. agent.
Yeah. Well, and they're really, I mean, so from what now in fairness, I didn't read it back at the time, but they really are leaning pretty much into, boy, was it Ed Brubaker who was writing it at the time? I can't remember at the time who was writing for Marvel when they had somebody replace Captain America. Cause that was an actual storyline in the 90s where at one point Captain America gets replaced by John Walker. And eventually this guy becomes a character known as U.S. Agent.
Right.
But, so it sounds as though they're going that direction. The Flag Smashers is also a classic Cap villain.
Yeah.
Not the way they're showing it, but it's interesting to see. And then there's the other part of this episode that, you know, I'm excited about. I'm excited that they've introduced some other pieces of history to Captain America that I'm glad to see. And I welcome it.
Yeah, it's good. It's compelling. We're into it.
You know, I don't know if you wanted to synopsize this or not, or if you wanted to.
Well, I mean, we have the setup is this the high school marching band or whatever. They have the big stadium filled with fans, and they have the interview on the field, and we introduce. You know,
by the way,
America
I want
their...
that. I want that. I want to loop with that. I never knew I needed the man with the
Star-Spangled Man. Yeah,
and a plan, and with a band with a high school band sound. I never knew I needed that until now. Right. I need that.
Buy war bonds.
Yes.
So we get the interview, and that's where Bucky sees him, and he's like, you can see the look on his face, like, oh, Sam, you dipshit.
Yep.
So we rejoin Sam. He's getting ready to go on a mission, and Bucky shows up, saying, well, I can't just ask America to give me the shield back. Can't call up America and just be like, oh man, I changed my mind. So they go on the mission together, and they're staring at each other from across the cargo plane in the back. And Bucky, John, of course, they're at low altitude. Sam could just pop out and hit those wings and go. But he has to fall, and Bucky leaves without a chute. And that might not have been the first time he's done that in all his years. I'm sure he might have had to do a lot of similar other things when he was the Winter Soldier. But they infiltrate...
Well, keep in mind though, too, I mean, it does make sense. It just looked like, it just was funny because we see Steve Rogers do that in multiple movies within the MCU where he'll just leap out of a plane without a chute.
Yeah.
And it'll go just fine. Whereas with Bucky, not so good.
Not as graceful, no.
Yeah, not so good.
No.
You know?
So they find this group, and these dudes are carrying like huge boxes, and Sam's infrared says they got a prisoner, but is she a prisoner? Bucky gets in, and she is like, okay, are you okay? Are you okay? And she just lets out a smile and punches him. So she's the Flag Smasher, apparently. She seems to be the big villain. Like the mastermind of this whole Mr. Big or Mrs. Big of this situation.
Well, the thing, I do want to back you up a minute, because it's like, we do get some fun stuff in there, like the fact that Bucky can't stand Red Wing.
Yeah.
Which is the automated, they made it.
The little drone, the bird drone.
Yeah, they made the bird drone.
Yeah.
Because, instead of having a real bird like in the comics, they decided to make it a drone, which makes sense, and that's smart. But yeah, Bucky can't stand Red Wing.
She's swatting at it.
Yeah.
that got a laugh out of me. Yeah.
Yeah. No, that's good stuff. And then, God, there was something else that I was just thinking about that I was thinking about.
They're smuggling drugs, and they're, but not the. It seems like they've all taken a version of the super soldier serum, because they're all like super strong and invulnerable to a degree. I mean, one guy bought her time so they could escape, so he got filled full of bullets. But after he, pushed a flag or pushed a lamppost down on the street to block all the cars. So they're not, they still take the bullets. But they're on the run and somewhere around Europe, and they have this big fight scene on top of these two trucks that are traveling, and dun da da, the new Captain America to the rescue, and that helps immensely because Bucky and Sam were somewhat outclassed. I mean, one of the dudes just broke Red Wing in half.
Yep.
So.
Which is amusing because you see Bucky's got his face like he's not unhappy about that.
No, but he's he knows that there's going to be consequences coming. Yeah. So U.S. agent, I'm sorry, I'm going to keep saying John Walker to the rescue, and he's got his sidekick is a Battlestar.
Yeah, Battlestar.
Yeah,
which
he calls himself.
He makes fun of that too.
He says, "Stop the car."
Yeah.
He gets up and walks out. Then there's a scene where, like, come on, you guys, and they're just walking. They don't want his help. They don't want to be part of it. But then they, and then they go. He talks to, after they part ways with John and Battlestar, Bucky talks of another. Like, there is another, and so they go to Baltimore in the projects or in the slums or whatever you want to call it, not the best part of town in Baltimore, and they see a man named Isaiah.
Yes.
And that was a cool scene.
So that's also a comic.
Yeah.
That's also continuity. That's also a comic. And I'm impressed because I didn't think it would ever think to add that element to the Captain America mythos within the MCU. And I'm so psyched to see that they did this because it adds a new dimension. It gives some different perspective.
Yeah.
And it adds a really interesting character. The other thing is that the grandson who's there ends up being a member of the Young Avengers later on.
Okay, we'll see if they build on that.
So we'll see if they build on that.
Yeah. Yeah, that was a cool scene. And then, of course, when they get out, the cops show up, and all of a sudden, Bucky's got a warrant for missing his therapy session. So I'm like, okay, so.
Well, there is the amusing part that, black man in the neighborhood, and he doesn't have an ID or anything along those lines, and at first they're going after him. There is a part of me that's unfortunate. What's amusing is the white guy leaves in the squad car.
Yeah, once they realize who he is.
Right, but the white guy ends up leaving.
Yeah, the white guy,
not the black guy.
And they talk about that. You're the Black Falcon.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that. That's great.
Yeah, it's like, what are you, black kid? So, yeah.
There's some really good humor. There's some really, really good humor.
Yeah, there's some great back and forth between these two characters. What I was really looking forward to.
Yeah.
I get to see my buddy Matt. He's a big Captain America fan. I need him to watch this series. I don't think he has Disney Plus.
The therapy session is great, too.
Yes, that's gold. We saw some of that in the initial trailer.
Yeah, the therapy session is gold.
Staring contest, that's great.
I do love that, there's this question about why would you give up the shield? And it's like, why won't you accept my decision of what I did? Versus no, he gave it to you. He meant it for you. This was for you.
And he trusted you with it. He thought he knew you. And was he wrong about you? Was he wrong about me? And that's great part about Bucky, because Bucky's got some serious issues, and this really brings it out. I love this part. Yeah, it was great scene.
Yeah. So like I said, there's some real depth to it. Again, the Isaiah stuff is is huge.
Yeah, it's cool.
The Isaiah stuff is huge because and this initially started as a story that at the time wasn't necessarily going to be Marvel canon, and eventually became Marvel canon, which is that there was, when they went to try to duplicate that serum, that they did kind of a very similar thing that they did to the Tuskegee Airmen with black / African American people, and that only so many survived, and the fact that, yes, this individual, Isaiah, ended up in prison for a period of time because of the fact that he did the right thing.
Yeah, he said he got 20 years or whatever, yeah.
Right, and all that stuff.
Yeah.
And the only difference that's interesting is in the comic, Steve does know. And because there's a scene in the graphic novel where Steve comes to visit him after he's found out what's happened, and they have a long talk. It'll be interesting to see if that in the episode, Bucky's like, oh, he doesn't know. Steve doesn't know. He never knew. He doesn't know anything about it. It would be interesting at some point if that were to change, but that again assumes that Chris Evans was available to do something like that, and I don't know if he was.
Yeah, or if all this happened when Cap was on ice. So, I mean, any reconciliation would have been just like a slap in the face to him. Just like this visit, it's like, get out of my house. He throws the plate into the wall or whatever. Yeah. So they're bound to, and of course, meanwhile, John Walker pops up again saying, "Hey guys, just trying to help. We're work together, and we can do this together." And we're like, okay, well, where is he? I think he's over here. Okay, let's go. And then that was it. So he's a means to an end, but then Bucky be all like, just take the shield. And it's like, I can't take the shield from him. So yeah, it's great dynamic between the two. It's what I was really looking forward to.
Well, it leaves us in an interesting place because it's like, well, okay, who else do we, we know Hydra was working on stuff like this.
Yeah, who knows the most about Hydra that's still around that we could talk to?
Right. So that leads us to the fact that we're going to see Zemo.
Boom.
AKA in the comics,
yes, we're going to see Zemo. That's awesome.
So we'll see where this goes, and we're going to see how well they got rid of the brainwashing, if that's going to be a problem.
Oh, yeah, exactly. It's like, is Bucky have to wear the earplugs?
Right. Well, the interesting part is he knows a lot about it. At the same time, it was funny. My first reaction was, in some ways, it's like, well, weren't all those Russian super soldiers? Although Zemo technically killed all of them, but who knows if there weren't more that they could have gotten that stuff from?
Might have, yeah, or cloned some of them from their DNA or whatever. Yeah. So, yeah, look, awesome. Can't wait for episode 3.
Yeah, no, this was the episode. It's funny. Look, I know a lot of people were enjoying WandaVision, and that's great. But to me, I was kind of looking.
This feels more like Marvel.
Well,
it feels more like MCU to me.
Well, I mean, here's the thing. The one thing about Captain America was Captain America seemed to figure out how to do Captain America seems to have figured out how to do is more of the spy thriller, the
political thriller
stuff. Yeah. The political covert spy kind of stuff.
Yeah, Falcon Winter Soldier the Winter Soldier is like in the top my top 5 of the MCU films.
Yeah, exactly. And even Civil War kind of goes that direction too.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, they really found that niche, and I'm glad that this show continues along those lines. And that was what I was excited for, because it's one of the parts of what they've done in the MCU that's, to me, is really cool and distinctive and unique, and I'm glad to see them continuing to be able to move forward with that.
And still give us all these deep cuts.
Yeah, absolutely. Like I said, it's for all the misgivings I had, well, I shouldn't say misgivings. I did enjoy the first episode. I was just like, come on, why do we need all this stuff? Let's just get to the good stuff. Do we really need this much setup in this episode to get there? Because I didn't know that we did. And by the way, that's the only thing I will start to say is I did think it was interesting that we didn't really get anything or any reaction from James Rhodes or Rhodey. And I'm not convinced that he's not going to be back at some point in the show.
Well, it's going to be a tie-in, obviously, to his series, so. Yeah, he might be back
Maybe.
in later episodes.
Maybe. I don't know if what's his name. I don't know if what's his name. I can't remember if William Hurt is
he's,
the guy who plays
still,
Thunderbolt.
Yeah, exactly. If Thunderbolt Ross is still has his position.
Well, we know he does. The question is he in this series? And I'm not sure. I'm not sure, but it certainly seems like this would be in his realm of something where we might see him again.
Was he at Tony's funeral at the end of Endgame?
Yes.
Okay. All right.
Yes, he was. That's the only other thing, by the way, that's not clear, is where does this fall? I mean, we got a time frame on where WandaVision is versus where
I think this is a
Far
couple
From
of
Home
months
is.
after after Endgame.
Yeah, but is it before or after Far From Home?
Probably about the same amount of time, I think. I think Far From Home was closer to when they came back. I don't know. But maybe all three are happening concurrently, so.
Maybe. Well, we know WandaVision was before that.
Yeah.
We know that.
It was like only a matter of weeks after the events of Endgame.
Right. So, and we think we know that this is
a couple of months on.
A couple of months on from that. So,
the
question is, where is it related to Spider-Man? But yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Okay. Let's see.
So,
what else did we have this week? We got some news from Kenobi. The Kenobi series coming to Disney Plus. Hello there.
Yeah.
Ian McGregor, and now Ian McGregor is older than
Guinness.
Yes, Sir Alec Guinness. I got caught on the Sir. I forgot the other two. Sir something. Almost said Sir Ian McKellen. So they cast they revealed the cast for the Obi-Wan show, and we've got the series. Obviously, we've got the Ahsoka Tano series. The Book of Boba Fett, The Mandalorian Season 3.
Well, the interesting thing is that of three castings, one, they brought back the people who played Uncle Owen and Aunt Beru.
Yeah, they reprised the roles of the two who played them in episode 2 and 3.
Right. And then the fact that we're getting Hayden Christensen.
Yeah, what's up with that? Maybe some flashbacks of a younger Obi-Wan. They might have some flashbacks of shit happening in the Clone Wars.
Or maybe we're getting another confrontation. Maybe we do get another confrontation in there somewhere.
There have been so many comics about Vader going back to Tatooine and not finding Kenobi or whatever, and now they've retconned the whole thing about in Rebels and or the Clone Wars or in 2 about Maul trying to find Kenobi, and Maul's got a he's a fly in the ointment before episode 3 and 4.
Mm-hmm. Well, we'll see.
Yeah,
we'll see. We'll see where it goes, and Ice Cube's kid is in that show too. I think. I think
is he Lil Cube?
O'Shea Jackson Jr., who played Ice Cube in the NWA movie, whatever the hell. I can't remember.
Straight Outta Compton?
Yep. So.
Deep.
So we're gonna get we get some hip hop sound in Kenobi.
They start filming in next month.
Can we have O'Shea Jackson? Can we have Ice Cube show up and go give it up for the real OG Kenobi? That kind of thing.
Hello there.
Yeah, sample that a few times.
Yeah.
Give it up. Hello there. Give it up. Hello. That kind of thing. You were
the chosen one.
I was the chosen one.
Big balance of the Force. Not leave it in darkness.
Yeah.
Other news, The Rock reveals the release date to Black Adam.
You know what? He is more, in that moment, he is more whiny than Hamill is.
Well,
the Tashi Station thing. Tashi Station.
I would have pick up some power converters.
Yeah. Kenobi's almost as whiny there on that moment, isn't he?
Well, his heart is breaking. He just lost his best friend, his brother.
Yeah. Well, it's not like missing power converters at Tashi Station. That's the problem.
Okay, then.
And by power converters, I think we mean hookers.
Yeah, well.
You're lonely. And,
I'm going to let you say that one.
Yeah.
I'm not touching that at all.
Is that? Okay. Now, this is what we've come to.
I go a lot of places. I'm just not going. I'm not going there.
You can waste time with your friends when your chores are done.
Yeah. Oh. So it's funny in the pre-show we were talking about things we should talk about. It totally spaced me for a second. That freaking Suicide Squad trailer is awesome.
Nah.
What do you mean, nah?
Meh. Could be good.
Get
I still haven't sat through the first one. Well, I need to see the first one. You don't have to
sit through. You don't need to see the first one to see something.
Okay, good.
I mean, dude, we're gonna get Starro, man.
And King Shark.
Yeah. By the way, Stallone's playing King Shark.
Yeah, he's the voice of King Shark. That's awesome.
That's great. I'm telling you, that movie, it looks good. It's funny because all the Snyder folks are pissed about it too. This is not what you're supposed to do that. Yeah. And they're all a bunch of whiny little bitches about it too. They're all whiny little bitches about this. I mean, they really are. I mean, all I saw from anybody who, and it's typical because like, this is not, we like it darker. Shut up. Dude, you got James
Need to be so
Gunn.
dark. Darkness.
Till there's nothing else to see.
You got James freaking Gunn. It's great. It's funny. It looks violent. It looks awesome.
It looks violent. Okay.
And you got a freaking giant attacking starfish. What the hell? I mean, come on.
I wonder if he's gonna start controlling people and shit.
Who? Starfish?
Starro.
Right. Well, that's the part that it's like funny because it's the giant starfish. But the thing about Starro is that he's got those little symbiotes that he puts on people and he basically controls everybody telepathically through them. And so it does sound like it's going to be an interesting movie to see how this all plays out. I will say, I feel like they're a little underpowered to take on Starro, but okay, we'll see how this goes.
Yeah.
Okay.
We'll see how this goes. But I'm excited. I'm excited about it. I think it looks fun. It looks like it's gonna be a blast. Cena is fucking hilarious in this thing. Where Cena's he's
arguing with Idris Elba in the jungle or whatever.
About the dicks thing, and he's like, "Hey, it's something about I can't remember what the line is, but it's just fun." He's just great. I mean,
sounds like fun.
And it's like there's the one part where they're trying to rescue Harley, and she's already escaped.
Yeah, he's ready to go in, and he turns around. There she is.
Yeah, wow. She's like, I can go back in because I feel tired. It's like she's like, oh, I'm so touched that you came for me. I can go back in. They're like, no, don't go back in. Come on, let's go. It looks like a lot of fun, and I'm not shocked. By the way, like I said, I'm not. See, that's why when you sit there and say "meh," my first reaction is freaking Snyderverse people. Because all I want is their little Snyderverse shit, and it's like, look, I liked the first Suicide Squad, and that puts me in the minority. But I think this will be just as fun, and it'll be interesting to see.
And I trust James Gunn from the Guardians films. So
absolutely, I absolutely trust him on this. I think it's going to be a lot of fun. Yeah. And the interesting part is people are like, oh, we're not getting Will Smith. The only reason we're not getting Will Smith playing Deadshot is because there was a scheduling conflict. If this goes well, Will Smith will probably be back for the third movie.
How do we know he won't be make a cameo?
And that's a possibility too. That maybe there's a surprise. Yeah. Maybe he found a way to make it for that. But there's like I said, that's one of the characters where people are like, oh, I think that's a possibility that down the road he'll come back to play Deadshot in the future.
Or at least as a setup for Suicide Squad. But they're not calling it Suicide Squad 2. They're just calling it The Suicide Squad.
Right. Well, I think they're kind of in a weird spot because with it because as much as people sit there and say, oh, Suicide Squad's had a really interesting conversation because I have people who sit there and insist it didn't do well and it wasn't a good movie, and yet it didn't meet the expectations of the numbers that Warner wanted, but it did do what it needed to do, and on top of it, it basically pretty much established Harley Quinn to being like a rock star character. Mm-hmm. Yeah, to like making her like a rock star character where, you're selling millions of dollars of Harley Quinn merchandise that you weren't selling before, and that's because of that movie. And it's funny because that movie did win an Oscar. And so go figure. I like it better than a lot of people. It's funny. They said no Ayer cut for the first one from David Ayer. And I'd like to see the Ayer cut. I'd be interested. Although I do like the stylized one that they did. And it's a fun watch. I like the first one. I mean, don't expect it to be spectacular.
Yeah,
but,
I have the Blu-ray sitting right over there. I just can't sit through it. That's just me. I'm trying to.
That's okay.
I'm trying to.
I have my problems with it too. Like, for example, the villain that they chose isn't a great villain. The other part about the problem with the villain is that I just kind of don't necessarily buy in some ways that given the team that they had, that they were able to stop that villain. Now, I'm told that the Ayer cut is very, very different than what we get. And because like, I was like, if rumors are to be true, one of the things I thought was from the get-go when I saw the original trailers was it was going to be the Suicide Squad versus the Joker. And my understanding is that and again, don't take this for fact because I'm not positive on it and I don't 100% know, but I got the impression that Joker is more involved and does take on the Suicide Squad a little bit more.
Right. Yeah, we know like a lot of Leto's scenes were left on the cutting room floor.
Right. I think he ends up working with the big bad somehow in some way, but I could be wrong, and don't quote me on it. I'm not positive. That's one of the reasons why I would love to have seen the director's cut of this version, which they're not willing to do, which I don't understand, because after doing the Snyder cut, why couldn't you do this? It would be equally, I imagine it wouldn't be nearly as popular, but it would get equally the amount of people to watch it. It would get a good amount of people to watch the Snyder, to watch a revised Suicide Squad on HBO Max. Why not? And it would only cost you, maybe another $20-30 million to do it. What's the big deal?
Yeah, just dropped $70 million on Snyder Cut.
Right, exactly. I mean, you just dropped 70. I mean, and you seemed happy to do it because you got people to buy HBO Max and watch HBO Max, and you got some buzz. So,
there's no one's going around saying the Snyder Cut is worse than the original theatrical release.
Okay.
But anyway.
Well, all right now.
What else we got?
What do we got?
Black Adam news, or the Snyder?
Yeah, so I guess Black Adam is going to be out in 2022. But I think the bigger news is that Pierce Bronson is going to play Dr. Fate.
Or they're going to give him that helmet.
They are. I think. Boy, that's in some inspired casting. I'll tell you that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'm I'm digging the casting. This reminds me of when Downey got cast as Iron Man. This is an inspired casting here.
Mm-hmm.
I like the idea, and I think Pierce Bronson just found himself, a new character that he's going to be around for quite some time in. And I think it's going to work really, really well. I think it's going to work out.
Yeah, it could be good.
No.
And if we're going into the magic and mysterious,
mm-hmm.
which is what DC is more than Marvel.
Yeah,
Marvel's
although it's funny.
Leaning that way now with Scarlet Witch now and all that.
Right, and Strange, which is funny because the truth is, so the only interesting thing about this is, Mike, because I don't know if you know the background or not, which is somewhere in the 90s or so, Black Adam somehow got his origin story somehow became to be about more than just him and Shazam. It involves the Hawks, which is Hawkman and Hawkwoman or Hawkgirl.
Yeah.
And Dr. Fate. And it all stems back in the days of Egypt, back in the day. So those characters are all now connected. So it's going to be interesting because the added history there makes Black Adam more than just a Shazam villain, and it connects him to more than just Shazam. But, I haven't heard who they're talking about casting for either Hawkman or Hawkwoman, or if they've talked about that at all or not.
I think Hawkman's been cast.
And maybe yes. I can't remember off the top of my head. And my understanding is we're not going to see Zachary Levi as Shazam in this particular movie.
I liked Zachary Levi and
I do, but I get the impression he's not going to be in this movie yet.
Okay.
I get the impression that they're saving that meeting for
sequel once they establish this character. Yeah.
Right, and for all I know, that could be Shazam too. I have no idea.
I hope so, because I liked Shazam. I saw Shazam.
Right. Well, but that's what's interesting about this is, and this is the reason I bring this up. What's interesting about this is, I'm looking at that part of how they've been casting. You've got Zachary Levi as Shazam. The Rock's going to play Black Adam. You've got Pierce Bronson playing Dr. Fate. I mean, they're really establishing that part of the DC universe really, really interesting and really, really well. And there's been talk for a while with the way that they're establishing who they're putting out there in terms of casting and directions where they're headed. There's been talk for a little while about the reason why maybe they're not going to recast Superman is, hey, you know what? We can put Wonder Woman and Aquaman with them, and then maybe we could do a Justice Society or a New Justice League that way, without a Superman and without a Batman, which would be interesting. Especially if you've although it sounds like you're going to have a Batman one way or the other, but, and it sounds like you may have a Flash, but it would certainly be interesting, if they decide to go that route.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. Again, that's down the road.
Right. Huh.
So, meanwhile, we have Snyder Cut people getting after Kong Godzilla.
Yeah, apparently this is going on from Screen Rant. Some Snyder fans are attacking the Godzilla vs. Kong film, which is like, why? So some Snyderverse fans are review bombing the Godzilla vs. Kong due to their anger with Warner Brothers because they don't seem like there's at currently doesn't look like HBO Max is going to be continuing the Snyder films. I mean, obviously, the Snyder cut of Justice League set it up set it up big time for a sequel. Obviously, a showdown with Darkseid would be coming, but Warner Brothers said nope, not doing that. At least there are no plans or whatever. So now however, Godzilla now has over 9,000 user reviews so far, and Small Attack has led others, including Snyder supporters, to give the movie a 10-star rating to negate the review bombing attempt. So, yeah, they're giving Kong versus Godzilla 1-star reviews. I need to find this. I have it on. It's right here. I have HBO Max here. I should watch this. Now, I saw the last one in the theater when I went with a friend of mine and his foreign exchange student from Japan, and she gave us a lot of insight because the actor who was in it, the elderly actor, is he's a very well respected actor in Japan.
Yeah, Matthew Broderick.
No, not that. no, not that.
And Hank Azaria.
Not Hank Azaria. No, you're thinking of the wrong Godzilla. We saw the Godzilla
the
King of Monsters.
The French guy.
No, not
the guy who plays the French guy.
The French guy. But yeah, the Godzilla versus Kong, yeah. It's like, but people who watch Godzilla movies, they don't give a shit about the reviews anyway, so they're gonna enjoy it because it's just monsters and smashing things and causing mass destruction. But then he has a heart, and there's the trusted and loves our children. So so people being butthurt about their other comic book films. Or taking it out on the companies who make the films. Like, that's not how you're going to get your film made, dummies.
Well, at this point, they figure. See, I think this is where I get frustrated. Is there are too many people that it's like, great, you wanted to say that this was done well. The problem is that you're placating people. Who this is just it's never going to be good enough. It's never going to end. This is going to go on for a while. And P.S. Zack Snyder will continue to push this because it's money. It's possibility for bigger money for him. Ray Fisher would love to continue to press this issue. Because it's good for him and it's good for his brand to continue to do so.
And he's still, he's still calling for, is it Warner Brothers or whatever their parent company or whatever to continue the investigation into all the shit that went down with him and Joss Whedon. Right.
So I mean, it's good for both of those guys, and obviously it must be. It seems to hit I will say this: it hits a nerve. You're either if you really are somebody who's interested in superheroes and comic books and stuff like that, you probably have an opinion one way or the other. I do think it's interesting because it seems like lately everybody keeps thinking the opinion is everybody loves the Snyder Cut. I do find it interesting when you say it doesn't, all of a sudden everybody's in attack mode. It was, quite frankly, kind of reversed. Now it's gone the other direction. I do laugh about it. I'm happy to be the minority. I'm more than happy to continue to just sit there and say, yeah, no, not really. I'm okay with that. So.
Okay. All right.
Trying to think of anything else. Because there is something I do want to get to, and I think certainly Ivan's been silent because this isn't his jam, but I'm curious. So we had a couple of conventions start talking about that they're going to do their thing.
Yeah, and not just a few conventions. It's the big one. It's SDCC.
Well, and Gen Con announced a few
and Gen Con. I think that news dropped last week about Gen Con. I think.
Right, so Gen Con they're talking about September.
Hmm.
And in fairness, it's a little bit smaller convention than the San Diego Comic-Con. But yes, now you're talking about the San Diego Comic-Con, and you're talking. I think there's a twofold thing about this, which is, if you want to continue on it, because I'm curious your take.
Oh. Well, it's all about the numbers. We got to see if the COVID levels, I mean, I don't know.
Well, there's a second part of this that's interesting, though, which is they've decided that they're going to do it Thanksgiving weekend,
which is not an ideal weekend for not a good weekend for a convention of any kind because a lot of people are with their families. And with more and more people getting vaccinated, I think by November, everyone over 18 is going to be vaccinated.
I think what frustrates me about this is, and what it reminds me of, and a thing you're not going to hear from fans, and it's because it's funny, because geek fans' reaction is, I don't care, I'm going to go.
Yeah. But a lot of the normies be all like, nope, not going to do it.
Let's not even talk about normies. Let's talk about the fact that you're now in a situation where you're asking people who may not be interested in working at that time to work.
Right.
And for the people who sit there and say, well, they don't have to go, that's a load of shit. If talent, if your movies debut it, if you're doing a movie junket, then guess what? Your ass has to be there. Yeah.
And if it's Thanksgiving weekend, you're asking people to fly on Thanksgiving so they could be there on Friday after Thanksgiving to be at a convention.
Right. You're asking people that means they need to be there a few days in advance. That means they won't be home for Thanksgiving. That means they will not be home for Thanksgiving. Yeah. They will not be with their family. They will not be with those people. And to take it a step further, yeah, there are vendors who, as much as you want to sit there and say, oh, okay, well, you just don't have to go. No, this is their livelihood. This is what they do. Yeah, you're forcing to put them in a situation where a situation like this, when really in reality, maybe you didn't have to do that. Yeah.
Yeah, I agree. It's a bad pick for a convention. Bad pick weekend.
Well, and the problem is that you're going to get a lot of people whose reaction is, and even in the normies, well, let the marketplace decide. I heard somebody sit there and say, well, let the marketplace decide. Well, no, that's not what we're talking about here. Or you have people going, well, I don't celebrate Thanksgiving, I don't care. It's not about, again, this goes back to it's not about you. There are a lot of other moving parts to create a convention. I mean, I remember, the year the Origins, the first time the Origins Game Fair decided that they were going to put their convention on July 4th. And I remember that there were a lot of people angry about that. Gamers weren't angry, but manufacturers were angry. Vendor booth people were angry. The people who actually have to do the work, the people who actually have to be there.
Not
work.
Just the staff and volunteers, but everyone else who needs to make a living.
Yes.
Yeah,
the industry.
Right.
The industry part of the industry. It's like, and that's the part I laugh about. I shouldn't say laugh. That's the part that's frustrating me. Is it's all about them and their entertainment. But they're not realizing in order for their entertainment to exist, you need all these different elements to create the content that you're there for.
Right.
And so,
but nobody ever really puts that much thought behind that.
You're right.
Yeah, they're short-sighted in that regard.
Right. Well, that's unfortunate. It's unfortunate, and here's the people who should. But here's the thing that's frustrating. Here's who shouldn't be doing that. San Diego Comic Convention.
Yeah. There's a lot of people
seriously.
Because that's the weekend when normally all the hotels would be sold out and people are renting out rooms or extra houses, even like bed and breakfast or whatever, for people who are traveling who want to go to the show.
Not to mention all the commerce it does locally.
Right. And now people got to work on Thanksgiving weekend because of the convention just to help make ends meet that weekend. I mean, there's a potential for a lot of money to be made from people, but then it's like they picked the wrong weekend because they'd rather not be working then.
Well,
it makes sense.
I mean, the one thing I would say is, as you're getting later in the year and you wanted to, in fairness, the one thing I will say to them is, you're getting later and later in the year. California is very different than Indiana. Gen Con's going to do their thing in September. Indiana is a little bit more lax than say California is. So they obviously have pushed into this thought process, and their thought process is, well, okay, well, where are we going to find the ability to do a multi-day convention? Okay, build around it. And I guess their thought process was, the only thing I can think of is, well, people are usually already take off Friday anyway. Let's build around Thanksgiving weekend. Let's do it Wednesday, Thursday. Let's do it Friday, Saturday, Sunday.
That would force a lot of people to have to travel on Thanksgiving, and that sucks.
Well, yeah, and that's...
Not only that, the whole Black Friday kind of tosses that off to the side, too. Because a lot of people do the shopping day after Thanksgiving, which, again, it's going to be...
That's become a whole online thing now.
Well,
and that's been stretched out like a week.
Yeah, I mean, you got the Cyber Monday thing. Yeah, I get it. But it's just... There's still a lot of people, though, that just go in person for certain things still. You want to get the deal.
Yeah.
I want to get it right then and there. I'm right there. I'll wait in the line, whatever, bullshit thing they're going to go ahead and give away, which is only going to go to that price about 2 months later. But you know what? Okay. But, yeah. But still,
I think Ivan's got a point, and here's where you have a point, Ivan, which is, if I'm the city of San Diego, and now you're not only having Black Friday, which is that all
the stores want to get filled with people,
and
now they're going to be filled with traffic of people going to the conventions too.
Right. San Diego is going to be a nightmare that weekend.
Yep.
Absolutely a nightmare.
Total fucking overkill.
Between between Black Friday and Christmas shoppers
and conventioneers,
I wouldn't want to be anywhere near San Diego. I just wouldn't.
No.
I mean, I don't even know how you're going to get caught. Forget Uber.
It's going to be a fuck fest.
Yeah.
Everyone will be walking to get to the show.
Right. You better be.
Better have your best shoes on. Yeah.
Yeah, because it's going to be a total fuck fest.
And the funny part is...
And not just the nerds fucking, no.
The funny... Yeah, well... Well, maybe that's it. Maybe the nerds figure, hey, mistletoe, I get laid even more now. I don't know.
More cases to get lucky.
This year I'm going to score at San Diego.
I'm going to score. I got my candy cane right here.
Oh, boy, the tourist.
Those sexy cosplayers.
Hey, yeah, let's do the dirty Santa elf routine, yeah.
So anyway, maybe, who knows, maybe there's still some months before they might push it forward a week, we'll see.
Well, yeah, there's the other thought process, which is maybe something happens and they're not able to do it at
maybe
all.
The numbers go up some more in the summer or late and early fall, and then they got to cancel it again.
Right, and we're talking about California, so they're going to be a little bit more...
And California and New York have been pretty bad still. Speaking of canceling, we got one more story, I think, before we leave. Of course, this dropped right after we were done recording last week. Black Widow has been pushed again to not just May, I was looking forward to, but it's been pushed again. And why did I not see this coming? Did not see that coming because I was like Pietro and Ultron. Got full of bullets. So, yeah. We were even talking about this last week. And then, of course, it drops the next day. It's been delayed to July 9th, and it will be available on Disney+.
Yeah, but it's the premium access, which means you're paying $30.
$30 to have it.
Yeah. To have it.
So
now, in fairness,
it's either I'll spend $10 or $15 or whatever, whichever theater you go to.
Yeah.
And see it. Or I'll spend $30 and have a big party, not a big party, but I have a couple people over and we can all chip in.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, well, again, this all depends, again, we've said this before, which is, it really kind of depends on who you got at home. If you got kids or a wife or the girlfriend, and the girlfriend's cool with it, chances are she's ours. Scarlett Johansson and it's chicks beating up.
Just tell her that Chris Hemsworth might be in it.
Yeah, I don't. Yeah,
I remember like a couple of girls when I saw Ragnarok with friends of mine, and there were a couple of girls, groups of 2 or 3 girls going to see the film just to see the beefcake.
Well, you remember earlier in the beginning of COVID. Remember at the beginning of COVID, he kept putting out those workout videos that basically every woman in America was using as like their personal porn. I mean, they were like, yeah, we're working out with Chris. Yeah, I bet you are.
Yeah,
What's that buzzing sound? What's that buzzing sound? Oh, nothing.
They're working out all right.
Yeah. Yeah, with AA batteries and electricity and... Yeah, no, no. There were quite a few women that I know that were like
they were posted a whole different way.
Yeah.
So you convinced the girlfriend that let's watch Black Widow. That's $30.
I mean, but that's right. Well, that's the key. I mean, because really, that's where you sit there and go, okay, justify it. Whereas I hate to say it, I'm a single guy. For me, it is $30, and the only thing I can think of is, okay, if I really went to the movie, it's probably about 10 or 12. If I paid full price, and if I bought popcorn and all the other stuff, it's close to 30.
Yeah.
But I also know me. Usually, I don't go on a night where I pay full price, or I have a freebie or something like that, or I'm able to cut the cost down. But that's just me. So. Yeah, I don't know. We'll see. I mean, in fairness, the good news is it's July, and it'll be interesting to see in Chicago
where we are in 3 months.
Right. Yeah.
So I think that's all the news we got this week. Anything else before we head out?
I think the only thing that's interesting about it is that Disney seems to insist upon doing it in this manner, whereas you look at Warner took an entirely different tack.
Yep.
Which was to basically be like, no, we're not charging anything extra. You're going to get to see everything on our slate for the year. And I just think it's interesting because why is it some movies like Mulan got put that way, and the new anime, the Raya, whatever, the dragon or whatever that is.
Raya and the Last Dragon.
Raya and the Last Dragon?
Uh-huh.
But yet, Soul was released for free.
Yep, and Onward eventually was. Well, Onward was right when the COVID hit.
Right.
But Onward eventually went to Disney Plus on the free side.
But Hamilton was released for free. Soul was released for free. I mean, I'm just curious as to why
they're putting money behind these particular movies. Is that what you're trying to say?
They're trying to make some of that money back, some of that box office money back.
I guess. So what are we saying? That Hamilton, they didn't need to make their money back on, and Soul, they weren't going to make, they didn't need, or the price was negligible enough that they could get away with doing it. I mean, I just don't know what else to think.
Or it might have been some kind of agreement, because you know how back in the days of the shows, Price is Right and stuff like that, you know how the corporations would donate for promotion only type of stuff?
No one needs to donate to Disney, Ivan.
No, but No, wait a minute. But what I'm saying, not donate, but I'm just saying, okay, hey, I want to promote, Hamilton to a much bigger audience, to a much higher level. Okay, they make a negotiation between Disney and the people of Hamilton. Okay, and in turn, however, the way they make the money is, well, Disney has got a big stronghold of the internet, the media, and everything going on right now. Okay, you got Hamilton, fabulous Broadway cast show, beautiful, huge, wonderfully done, and why not have a marriage of the two? Well, don't you think that maybe that's why, Hamilton didn't become part of the $30 club? Maybe that might have been the situation.
Don't know.
I don't know. That's
Maybe
my
you have
problem.
a similar situation where they could have had a product placement. You have like Hamilton wearing a Pepsi T-shirt.
Yeah, except they took that they did the filming of that from when they were on Broadway.
Right.
You need Lippy.
So
Yeah.
yeah. Alexander Hamilton, sponsored by Hamilton's. You know, I don't know.
Yeah, by the Hamilton Mint.
Yeah.
The Franklin Mint.
Get your Hamilton quarters here.
Yeah, they paid enough money to change his name to Hallmark. I am Alexander Hallmark. You'll love my cards. You'll love my cards. No, I don't know.
Yeah. Guaranteed rate Hamilton.
Yeah, oh my God. Wow, that's yeah. Oof. Oh boy, yeah.
Where can they find?
I mean, the only thing I can think of is, is they put Soul on for free on the 25th because Warner Brothers was putting Wonder Woman on. It's the only thing I can come up with.
Yep.
If they wanted to have something that they could release on the 25th and get people to not go over to HBO Max, maybe that would appeal more to families. And the only other thing I can think of is that COVID hit and they were so hard up for programming or something with needing of a big event that Hamilton was probably the best, most cost-effective option that they could come up with. It's the only thing I can come up with. Cause otherwise, what else is the rationale? It'll be interesting to see which ones. Really, like I said, I don't understand why Disney is so. Has been not so interested in following suit to Warner Bros.
Now it's been a full year, almost like 11 months now since this movie was supposed to be in the theaters.
Right. Well, and again, it's funny because the Hollywood folks will applaud Disney for their approach on this versus Warner Brothers, where they're still getting hit about this approach. And really, in reality, it's this Warner Brothers did the most savvy, smart thing they could do, which is, hey, we've got all these movies, we need to release them, we need to have a slate. We'll release some of these in the theater. We're not going to worry about it, and at the same time, we're going to grow our streamer.
Ivan, you okay?
Oh, I'm good.
Oh, jeez.
He's scratching. He's doing the sound counting.
Yeah.
I was getting my charger.
Oh, okay.
He's sound counting. You know.
Levels were hot. Yeah.
Oh, sorry.
Counting his battery level going down.
Yeah.
Yeah, too many sounds. Battery's low.
Yeah, man.
Counting too many sounds.
Counting too many sounds.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, man. I'm going to spin the wheel and find out how much battery power I have.
Yeah, you need to invest in a wheel. Go to Party City and see if you can find like a party, like a game show wheel.
Yeah.
That would be awesome.
Or get like a Wheel of Fortune home game and turn it into the spinning wheel home game.
Couldn't you just try, go find an old game of life or something like that has the wheel thing? Just
I have that. That would be amusing. I love it.
Mm-hmm.
Consider it done.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Speaking of done, I think we might be done this week.
I think we are done. I think we are done.
Oh.
We're done counting for today.
No.
We're done sound counting for today. Glad you made it.
Yeah. You can download the show if you're listening. That's great. Thank you. You can download the show on your usual podcast hosting platforms if you haven't already. We're on Apple, Google, Spotify, Anchor. We're on Instagram and Twitter at SOTRT Podcast. You're into YouTube, click the bell, subscribe, to get new content. And, of course, follow us on Facebook, Squares Roundtable Podcast, as we can find all the crazy stories, all the nerdy stories from here, and all the crazy stories for our extra show, a bonus show, 2 shows for the price of 1, twice the hype at half the calories, news of the squared,
Man.
Yeah, you do.
Ivan is on twitch.tv at Java and Ivan. Jeff is on Clubhouse. He's on Instagram and Twitter and YouTube, Facebook at Steinamite Productions. Email us for questions, comments, and all that, or even just to say hi.
Hi.
Sometimes we get lonely.
Hi, yeah.
SOTRT podcast at gmail.com.
.com. Thanks everybody for joining us tonight here at the Squares of the Round Table. So I hope you'll dig your wig here again, same time, same place, lovely face, okay? Have a great weekend. We'll catch up with you next time around. Peace.